The ending of The Last Airbender left us with many questions that weren't answered by the Legend of Korra's beginning. And though many fans know that most characters' adventures and arcs are covered in the Dark Horse comics,
starting with Zuko's search for his mother, spoiler, he did find her, and ending with Toph founding a metalbending school that made metalbending super easy for most earthbenders in Korra's epic,
there is also one major question that is harder to nail than the identities of Izumi's mother and Sui and Beifong's father.
Those are still a mystery to everyone.
How the heck did technology progress so fast within the 70 years that separated Korra and Aang? How did the industrialization happen in the world of magic?
Let us fill in the gaps.
The answers to these questions lie in the comics, but they are never approached directly, so one has to pick bits out from the context. The very first comics that continues Avatar: The Last Airbender's storyline is The Promise, which tells us the story of the oldest Fire Nation colony in the Earth Kingdom, Yu Dao. It was conquered by Fire Lord Sozin at the very beginning of the 100-Year War, and because of that, two nations in this colony produce their own unique mix of culture and traditions. Yu Dao becomes the subject of conflict between Zuko and General Hao, as they try to figure out whether the colony should be given back to the Earth Kingdom, remain within the Fire Nation rule, or get autonomy.
The conflict is resolved by the formation of a coalition of both people from Fire Nation and Earth Kingdom that reside in Yu Dao. They get the right to rule their region independently from their governments. Yay!
The importance of this case is that Yu Dao becomes a precedent for mixed cities and regions. Before, and even during the 100-Year War, four nations mostly functioned separately, and the fact that Yu Dao becomes autonomous with a mixed government of its own is a step towards change and cooperation between nations. In fact, Yu Dao's precedent triggers the creation of other mixed cities in place where Earth Kingdom citizens mix with those from the Fire Nation. For example, in one of the later Last Airbender comics, Imbalance, we can see Cranefish Town, which will later become Republic City, the center of the United Republic of Nations. That's where the first international business, Earth and Fire Refinery, takes place. And that's where the industrialization progress begins.
But was the progress so boosted just because of four nations mixing and sharing their knowledge?
Not really, Mr. Fullylover. The shared knowledge and international businesses were one of the major causes of the rapid development of technology. Yes. And to be honest, Toph's metal-bending skills, passed on to other earthbenders, also were of use on newly built factories. But one must also remember that the urbanization and progress in general were slowed down by war. For 100 years, people's minds were occupied with expansion or defense, depending on what nation they were from. There is no stability during war times, which makes it hard to develop anything, except for maybe weaponry.
Well, I guess you're right, Mr. Scoffer. In the graphic novels North and South, we can see how the village of the Southern Water Tribe, where Sokka and Katara lived when they were young, changed in just a couple of years after the end of the war. All men and women who fought against Fire Nation returned home and expanded the village, using the knowledge they gained during the war from the other nations to build up a whole city, which then grew even bigger in Korra's time.
Once you fill in the gaps with the help of the comics, it becomes obvious why the Avatar world changed so rapidly before the Legend of Korra took place. Long story short, four nations getting mixed allowed them to work together, sharing knowledge and resources, and the time of peace provided enough stability for people to concentrate on the development of science and the construction of new cities.
That's how progress gets boosted!
Don't forget to subscribe to boost the creation of analysis videos on animated series and cartoons on our channel.